Well, we're well into May. How about that for a beginning? Well, we're well into May. And yes, we are. Chelsea Flower Show, of course, is the big highlight of May, and that encourages lots of people to do more gardening. The danger is, of course, people go to Chelsea Flower Show, they see these beautiful displays, and they think they could bring part of that back into their own garden. And that's not always feasible, but sometimes it is possible. So listen out on World Radio Gardening for more about Chelsea Flower Show and how it's put together. We'll be telling you more about that in the future. But it does give people ideas, and all garden shows give people ideas. So take those ideas, but look and ask about doing things in your garden by a gardener before you just do it. Don't just buy plants and think, what the dickens am I going to do with that? Because garden centres are full of lovely plants at this time of the year. Talking of which, it's a good time to plant your bedding plants. I know my old dad talked about FA Cup and all that sort of thing, but when did we last have a frost? I'll tell you what, most likely, the last frost was most likely 2 to 3 months ago. So get the bedding plants out, but look for good quality bedding plants. And if they're in bud, don't worry. You don't want everything in full flower when you plant it. And when you plant it, what I do is add a bit of base compost. You can buy slow release compost, which means that you don't have to actually keep putting it on. It's covered in a resin and it actually leaches into the soil around your plants as the sun comes out and the plants get watered. If you're planting bedding, plant them quite close together. You'll get a much better display. And don't go red, white, orange, pink. Do a cluster of one colour, a cluster of red, a cluster of yellow, and you'll get a much better effect. Roses are starting to come out, as we've seen in lots of the gardens and lots of the pieces that we're doing here on World Radio Gardening. And look out for black spot. It's a little brown spot that starts off brown, then goes black, then the leaf goes yellow and they drop off. You want to get to it before it does that. If you use something like a rose clear, that will really help. And don't forget, all roses, just like any plants, need food. Give them a good rose feed at this time of the year. And as they produce dead heads from that lovely bloom, deadhead them. Cut the dead head off and you'll get plenty of new growth. Watch out for aphid on all sorts of things, particularly vegetables. I noticed that on the broad beans, yes, they've got blackfly all on the tips. I use a safer spray on those and I just spray them off. You can wash them off if you're keen on washing them off with a hose, but it doesn't really totally get rid of them. However, a bit of blackfly on the outside of a pod of broad bean doesn't really hurt, because you open the pod up and you use the bean inside. Yeah, Jamie Oliver, I noticed, is actually using young broad beans with the small bean in, then chopping the whole thing up. And that's another way of eating broad beans. Good time to get lots of vegetables in. You can plant now lettuce, leeks, beetroot, carrot, loads of things. And it's a harvest to look forward to. Get those children in your family to encourage them. Use containers or any little patch of garden that you can let them have. But don't give them a rough old bit. Give them a piece of garden that's got plenty of sunshine. And then teach them how to water. Watch for some of our YouTube pieces that are encouraging young people to participate in gardening. So what else have we got for you? Watch for pests. Get on those lawns. My word, are they growing? Keep them cut on a regular basis, at least once a week. And also spray for weed. If you've got only a tiny lawn, use a liquid feed to encourage it. If not, use a granular. So that's what you do on your lawns, but the most important thing is to keep it cut. I'll be giving you more tips later on at the end of the month, but in the meantime, don't forget, if you've got a problem, go to post@worldradiogardening.com. I'll have a look at your mail and answer it for you.